just gotten my first job, or I'm still in my 20s. I was thinking about retirement planning. One of the things that I want to do is maximize my return as much as possible. How do I do that?
If you're starting employment today, because of the NSSF Act, you are in a better place. That's very different than when I started working some 20-something years ago, going to 30. Why? Because today, if you are employed by someone, there is a law. And the law is saying that person must open for you an NSSF account. Now, once you've established that there's a law that says that, the next step is, this law also goes ahead and says there's Tier 2, which allows you to put that money in a private pension account. So that's what I would tell you. Make sure you get a private pension account.
Is there a separate post-retirement scheme specifically for medical purposes that I also need to save to? Thank you.
Now, in a survey that was conducted by RBA about 9 or 10 years ago, they defined that one of the biggest expenses for retirees was medical cover. It accounted for 47% of your retirement savings over the period. 47%. It is half of what you take home. You take home 2 million shillings, 1 million will be used during your 20 years. Now we all know that unfortunately we are one medical bill away from poverty. Now what the law currently provides is not a medical cover, okay? It is an accumulation mode, all right? So you're told we are giving you an opportunity to accumulate 1 million shillings by the time you're 50 years. So how do you do that? We allow you to contribute to a post-retirement medical fund 1,000 shillings every month. So that once you attain 50, you have this amount that you will choose to utilize for your medical cover.
My biggest challenge is having someone to contribute for me pension every month. Now that was a big downside when I left formal employment to come to self-employment. But you see, looking back, I can say that was just an advantage, and looking now from where I am, it will have made me complacent. In the sense of, I knew that, because when I was employed, I knew, the only thing I knew was you have to save for retirement, and that's it, and that's the only money you will need upon retirement. That was when I was employed. But now moving from employment to now self-employment, I remember it hit me in 2020 when I left formal employment. And then someone mentioned to me, have you been saving for retirement? And I was like, no. For me, I was like, I'm not employed, so I don't need to think about retirement. And I remember I also mentioned it, my dad is also the one who mentioned it to me. And he was like, but you moved employers, have you consolidated your money? And I was like, is that something people do? Because I remember, since I've moved employers, I remember the first employer, when I was moving, someone told me, oh, you can access 75% of your contribution. Who am I? This was money for myself. I went, I withdrew 75% of it, and I ate the money. Then now when I moved when I was now moving now from formal employment entirely, I remember now I was like, no, since I have did that mistake before, I went and moved the whole of it 100. But then now you see, since I've changed employers, I went now started going back to tell them my 50% I need it. I need you to send it to this IPP account for consolidation. However, for me, it's a challenge because I don't have that advantage of saving for retirement each and every month. And I remember I did also the numbers on the financial advisor tool which you have on your portal, and it told me to give me an ambiguous number. I was so scared. It gave me that I need to have saved like 20M for me to retire at 60. And I was like, where am I going to get that money? Because I have to live my life. I have to meet my bills. I have to save for my business. I have to save for my emergency fund. I have to save for my sinking fund. And I knew that thing is so impossible for me to save 20M. So what I did is, with my IPP, I have now categorized it. Because now also looking at it, you look and say, okay, I can't save 20M. That is so impossible. But what can I use this IPP for retirement for? So then I went and saw that medical expense upon retirement is heavily expensive, because someone who's 60 pays, I think, a premium of 200,000. And I was like, It even scared me. So I was like, okay, I will contribute a sum of money to my IPP to now cater for my medical insurance upon retirement. So every amount of money I put in my IPP is for medical, post-retirement medical, so that I know when I'm 50, when I'm 60, this pool of money will help me cater for that. Because that is only the amount of money I can be able to contribute, because the number was, when you look at it, you're like, okay, in reality it says 20M, but then you ask yourself, will you be able to raise 20M? Then you're like, okay, I know I won't, so then I can still raise money, but it has to meet a certain goal. So that is what I've also done for myself. I still contribute for retirement, but it is for a specific objective upon retirement.
Wherever we get an opportunity to reduce on how much tax we should pay, or we are required to pay, we should. If you can save on that extra 1,000 shillings, that surprisingly is 2 tissues away. No, even tissues are now a luxury. But if you can save off a shilling for your benefit, you should. Now, the law allows that for a whole year of contribution in a registered scheme, you can get a tax-free amount, an amount that is deductible from tax of up to 240,000 shillings for every year. 240,000 shillings that is tax-free. That 240,000 is also accounted, you have saved it. You've not just enjoyed the tax-free element, you've also saved it in your retirement benefit scheme, so it will keep on earning an income. But we are talking about tax. Now, the investment income that is earned from that value is also tax-free. Again, you're saving off some amounts in terms of investment income. And down the line, once you attain the age of retirement, there is also a tax incentive that is allowed. Again, you are allowed currently a maximum of 600,000 shillings that is not taxed before you pay it.